living longer, living healthier, living better than ever before. Welcome to Mountain Pacific's Healthy Living for Life, a weekly series that gives you the information, education, and expert insight you need to become an active participant in today's ever-changing healthcare climate. Here now is today's program host.
After putting in decades of hard work, retirement is a well-earned light at the end of a long tunnel. But when is the right time to retire? When should you claim Social Security? And what if you end up going back to work after retirement? Welcome to Healthy Living for Life, a show dedicated to helping you do just that. I'm your host, Lisa Sather. Today we look at Social Security retirement benefits and the cost of working after retirement. Stay with us. Welcome back. Earning a paycheck means paying into Social Security, and we hope to get those benefits when we retire. Here to help us understand some of those Social Security benefits is Richard Fowler, District Manager of the Helena, Montana Social Security Office. Richard, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So for those of us who work and pay into Social Security, we see this withholding on our pay stubs. Can you talk about what exactly Social Security is?
Sure. Social Security is a federal program that provides financial benefits for older Americans, workers who've become disabled, and families in which a parent or a spouse dies. In 2017, about 173 million people were paid into Social Security, and about 62 million Americans received monthly Social Security benefits. Most of these people being retirees, but it's important to note that Social Security was not intended to be the sole source of income after retirement.
I'm glad you stated that. So for those of us that are working, Social Security is this tax that comes out of our paycheck, and can you talk about how much that tax is right now?
Yeah, the overall amount is 12.4%. So if you work for an employer, you pay 6.2%, which is what you see coming out of your taxes, and then your employer pays the additional 6.2%. If you're self-employed, you pay the full 12.4%. But you only pay Social Security taxes on your earnings up to $132,900. Any earnings over that aren't taxed.
Okay. So from there, how then does Social Security work? How, what does paying those taxes earn us? What does that mean?
Your Social Security number is used to track your earnings and while you're working, and your benefits after you're getting Social Security. So as you work and pay taxes, you earn Social Security credits. In 2019, you're earning one credit for every $1,360 that you make, and you get a maximum of 4 credits per year. To retire, you need at least 40 credits or 10 years of work.
Okay, so what happens when I retire? What's the process?
So as you work, sorry, I messed that up.
You're good.
Okay, so you'll receive monthly payments based on how much you earned during your working career. Obviously, higher lifetime earnings result in higher benefits. We look at your highest 35 years of work and earnings to determine what your monthly benefit amount will be.
All right, so Social Security benefits also depend upon the age in which you retire, I understand. So can you explain that?
Yes. Full retirement age depends on when you were born. If you visit our website, www.socialsecurity.gov, there's a chart that shows what year, the years you were born, okay, and what your corresponding full retirement age would be. But just for an average, if you were born from 1943 to 1960, the age varies between 66 and 67. And now if you're born after 1960, your full retirement age is 67.
Okay. So to round out our conversation about Social Security benefits, a widow or a widower can receive a deceased spouse's Social Security benefits. Is that right?
There is a possibility for receiving survivor's benefits on a deceased spouse's record. I would recommend if you're receiving retirement benefits and you think you may be eligible for deceased spouse's benefits, to contact your local Social Security office to check.
Okay. So someone is thinking about retiring. When exactly should that person retire for Social Security benefits?
The earliest you can apply for benefits is up to 4 months prior to when you want benefits to begin. Even if you're not ready to retire, obviously you can visit our website, again, www.socialsecurity.gov, and look at the information that we have about benefits, when to file, and even how to apply.
Okay. So can you actually apply online for retirement benefits then as well?
Absolutely. Social Security offers an online retirement application. The online application is user-friendly and it's really easy to navigate. The website gives you information about what you need for filling out the application. The benefits to filing online are you can do it in your home. In most cases, it probably takes longer to drive to the Social Security office than it actually does to fill out the application. If you're stuck or if you need to look something up, you can close the application at that point and save it and then go back into it at a later time and finish it. And then if more information is required once you submit it to the Social Security Administration, a representative from the agency will call you and get any updates that we need.
Cool, that sounds great. So whether a person chooses to actually physically go down to the Social Security office or apply online for benefits, are there specific documents they're going to need in order to do that?
The easy answer is it depends, but most of the time you need your Social Security number, not necessarily the card, just need to know your number. Direct deposit information, we could sometimes need to see a birth certificate. If you weren't born a U.S. citizen, proof of your U.S. citizenship would potentially be needed. And then just depending on the application, other documents. For example, if you're self-employed, we may need your most recent W-2 or your most recent tax return.
And for those documents like a birth certificate and you're physically going in, is that something that has to be certified? Or, I think that's a question that people don't just necessarily want to show up and not have it how it should be.
Absolutely. Yes, all the documents either need to be the original or a certified copy.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're going to pause here and take a quick break, so stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to take a look at the Social Security website and how you can accomplish quite a lot online when it comes to Social Security retirement benefits. Don't go away. We have much more to talk about after these messages. Welcome back. If you know how to get online or know someone who can help you do so, the Social Security website offers many features to help you prepare for retirement and better understand retirement benefits. We're going to walk through some of these features with Rich. Rich, thanks again for being here.
Again, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So what is a My Social Security account?
A My Social Security account is an online feature that allows you to access your Social Security statement, to check your earnings record, and to get benefit estimates. You can create a My Social Security account if you're over age 18 and you have a Social Security number, a valid U.S. mailing address, and an email address.
Okay.
You can create an account by going to the socialsecurity.gov/myaccount website. You'll need to supply some personal information and create a username and password. The account's completely secure, and some of the features that it has behind that portal is you can request a replacement Social Security card, as long as you're not doing a name change. If you receive benefits, you can get your benefit verification letter that tells how much you're receiving in Social Security benefits monthly. You can change your address and phone number. You can request a replacement Medicare card. You can request replacement forms during tax season, like your 1099, and then you can start or change direct deposit as well.
Awesome. So I understand the Social Security website also has a retirement toolkit. Can you talk about what people can learn about by taking a look at the retirement toolkit on there?
The toolkit provides several different things. It has a list of publications that help with retirement planning. For example, the top 10 ways to prepare for retirement, how to file a claim for retirement benefits, and information for financial planning to set goals for your future. The tools in the toolkit help you make timely decisions and, if necessary, make changes while you still have time before retirement. It gives you contacts who can answer questions that you might have, and information about health plans as well.
Awesome. So on the heels of health plans, the toolkit also discusses Medicare and health plans. How are Medicare and Social Security related?
Social Security and Medicare are separate programs, but they work closely together. They're both federal programs designed to help older Americans and the disabled. Social Security provides the financial help, and Medicare is a federal health insurance program. So Social Security informs people about Medicare enrollment periods, processes their applications, and collects premiums for Medicare. You can find more information about Medicare on their website at www.medicare.gov.
Great. So in a similar vein, Medicare and Social Security are alike in that the taxes for those are both paid out of our paychecks. Is that right? That's
correct. The total amount is 2.9%. And so just like when you're working for an employer, you pay 1.45% and your employer pays the additional 1.45%. And if you're self-employed, just like as with the other, you pay the full 2.9%. The only unusual thing is, unlike Medicare, unlike Social Security, there's no cap to how much you pay in premiums for Medicare.
Okay, well, thank you for explaining that. So going back to the features on the website, people can also find Social Security benefit calculators. What are those?
There are a variety of calculators on the website. I'll just go over just a couple of them. One of the good calculators is called the retirement age calculator. And basically what that does is, we discussed earlier about how the retirement age varies depending on when you were born. So this allows you to put your date of birth in and then tells you what your full retirement age is. The other one we have is a retirement estimator, and this estimates your monthly benefits based on your Social Security earnings record. And then there's another calculator called the life expectancy calculator, which estimates how long you or your spouse may live to help you determine how much money you will likely need for retirement. Now, obviously, it doesn't take into account any health or thing like that. It's just a basic estimate.
You just plug the information in there and it gives you what you need to know.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, so how about talking about if there's any other information or advice you feel that's important for individuals to know when planning their retirement? The sky's the limit. I mean, what would you want to share with us?
Well, the easy answer is it depends on you. Obviously you can draw benefits early. You can wait till your full retirement age. You can wait till after. So, like I talked earlier, it's not really designed to be a standalone benefit. So, you want to look at your physical well-being, your financial well-being, to determine when is the best time to draw benefits.
Okay. All right, we're going to pause here for a break, and I want to thank you for sharing all that valuable information. It's been outstanding, but we're going to come back here in a few minutes and finish up, so stay with us. Coming up next, are you retired and thinking about going back to work? While working can bring in extra income, going back to work after retirement could also have its costs. We'll talk about what you need to consider before taking a job after retirement. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned. Some Americans retire and decide to go back to work, even part-time. But what happens to your Social Security benefits if you go back to work? Richard Fowler is still here with us. Hi, Richard.
Hey.
Welcome back again. So before we get into that, I want to go back to a couple of other questions that I had about the website. Can we talk a little bit more about the life expectancy tool, and maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on how that works?
Sure. The way the life expectancy tool works is a man reaches age 65 today, can expect to live on average until 84. A woman who turns age 65 can expect to live on average till almost 87. Obviously, those are just averages. Again, they don't take into consideration people's health, family history, things like that. And about 1 in every 4 65-year-olds will live past the age of 90. So that has to be a factor when you're deciding when to start receiving benefits, because you need to figure out how long you could live, and you also want to consider whether or not you have enough money to take care of yourself for as long as you need to.
So it sounds like a really valuable tool for folks to get in there, dig around, and play around with that.
Absolutely.
Perfect. And then I had another question too, following up to that. Making an appointment. If somebody is not comfortable going online and checking all of this out, and they feel more comfortable talking to someone in person, is that an option?
Oh, absolutely. We are the face of the government, so you can call us. You can call your local office. You can come into the office if you want. Obviously, for retirement purposes, you want to call us and set up an appointment to come in and see us.
And are there offices throughout the state, or just located here in Helena? Is that?
They're throughout the state. I don't have a complete list on me, but there are several in every state, so they're everywhere.
Perfect. All right. So getting back on topic here then again, if someone applied for Social Security and they retired, but later then decided he or she needed or wanted to return to work, what happens to the person's Social Security retirement benefits at that point?
Well, it depends on how old you are when you return to work. If you're receiving benefits before full retirement age, Social Security would deduct $1 for every $2 you go over the earnings limit, which in 2019 is $17,640. In the year you're going to reach your full retirement age, that deduction goes down to $1 for every $3 you earn over the limit, and the earnings limit goes up to $46,920 for this year. The month you reach your full retirement age, there's no longer an earnings limit.
Okay. So if you do decide to go back to work, do you have to notify Social Security that you're doing that?
If you return to work, you're required to report changes to the Social Security Administration. You can do that by phone or by visiting your local office.
And then are your earnings automatically tracked through that process? How does that work?
We interface with the IRS to track those earnings.
Okay, that makes sense. So what if someone doesn't retire, but they're over the age of 62 and they'd like to apply for Social Security? Can they receive Social Security benefits and keep working?
Yes, you can, but again, like we talked earlier, depending on your age, Social Security would reduce your benefits, and then we would also look at your earnings to make sure you're not exceeding the limits that we talked about. The same rules and limits apply whether you're retired, whether you went back to work and kept working and applied for Social Security benefits.
Okay, that makes sense. So if you're working and collecting Social Security benefits, whether it's a post-retirement job or you never stopped working, do you still pay Social Security taxes out of your paycheck? I mean, is there a way we can get out of that?
Unfortunately, no. And so, yes, you will have to keep paying Social Security taxes while you work.
All right. So how can someone find out whether his or her Social Security benefits could be taxable? What would be the options there?
I would recommend either contact the IRS or your tax advisor. They should be able to assist you with determining whether your Social Security benefits are taxable.
Okay. So in our final conversation here, is there any additional advice you'd give our viewers who are thinking about retiring or going back to work after receiving retirement benefits? And again, whatever you think is information our viewers would be, needing to hear.
Yeah, and I kind of alluded to it earlier. Making the decision really depends on the individual's financial circumstances, their personal health and lifestyle. The best advice I can give is to make sure you're prepared. One way to do that is obviously by exploring our website, again, www.socialsecurity.gov, or speaking with a Social Security representative about your retirement options.
And I'm also assuming, we haven't really mentioned it here, but if you have employed the expertise of a financial planner along the way before you're getting ready to take Social Security, I assume that's probably a good thing to do if folks are looking at not relying completely on Social Security for their entire retirement gig, right?
Right. Always getting expert advice is a good thing. I'm not going to advocate for everybody going out and getting a financial expert, but it always is good to have that kind of overall look at your financial well-being, your physical well-being, and then using our estimator to project your longevity of life to just say, okay, this is where I think I'm going to be. How do I get there?
Absolutely. So, yeah, I really like the idea of being able to go out there and work with those tools. And so thanks for explaining all of that. I think there's some good information out there.
All right. Well, thanks for having me today. I appreciate being here.
Thank you so very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you for tuning in this week. Be sure to join us again next week. Until then, stay fit, stay well, and stay healthy for life with Healthy Living for Life.
Healthy Living for Life is brought to you by Mountain Pacific Quality Health. We'd love to hear from you. If you have suggestions for future programs, visit our website at mpqhf.org or call us at 406-443-4020. You can also catch us on YouTube by visiting our website and clicking on the YouTube icon. Special thanks to Fire Tower Coffee House and Roasters. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions.